anxious election watchers, I should say, Americans troop to the polls later tonight, our time to choose their next leader. So what will that mean for those with money on the line? For some answers, let me bring in Raymond Neil Franco. He's the head of research at Abacus Securities. Nikki, good to have you on the show with us. What a wild ride it has been for markets everywhere, and even more so for the Philippines. We're seeing some pre-election relief rally. Could be premature at this stage. And this morning, what do you make of this? Is it really a good time to be piling back in now?
I think it's a relief rally that will probably last throughout the day, maybe until tomorrow. But as I've seen in some studies, the relief rally doesn't last that long, and maybe 6 months or 12 months later is going to be a different story.
I wanted to pull up the chart showing you where the P-comp, the PSE, and the main index has been just in the fourth quarter alone. We're just a few weeks into the fourth quarter. Take a look at those peaks and valleys. Currently down by about 5%, not 5%, but around here is where we're hovering around now, 7,100. This was at a high of almost 77, past 7,700 resistance level there. What do you make of this story? Is it just reactions to externalities, or is there a bit of domestic risk factored in here as well?
Well, first of all, I have to say that I'm probably one of the most bearish strategists out there. And we were actually looking, earlier this year, we were actually looking at 7,400 for the PSEI to end the year. So we're actually below that already, and so we actually expect the rest of the quarter to be better. So we expect the market to rally a bit going forward. One, of course, is, as you said, relief rally from the US. And earnings reports so far this third quarter have been better than expected in general.
Actually, at the ongoing Philippine Development Forum, NEDA Secretary Ernie Pernia himself said that Trump's protectionism could hurt Philippine trade and investment, even as we're trying to lessen our reliance on Washington. So in that scenario, could you foresee the PSE index falling further or reacting in a bad way?
First of all, I think Hillary is going to win. The odds are showing that she has a 90% chance of winning later tonight. And so we're far from actually looking at the Trump presidency. Going forward, if Hillary does win tonight, then we should see the market again moving a little bit higher.
When we talk about the markets, of course, we can't discount currencies. Asian currencies actually not really benefiting from the US dollar's fluctuations recently. Take a look at that. The peso showing a bit of a fight back, up marginally, just 0.2% so far this quarter. But all the rest of our other major currencies in the region trading in the red. What is your call for the peso, given, as you said, a Clinton presidency?
We were looking at about 49 pesos to $1 by the end of the year, driven by, of course, the Fed raising rates in December, as we, at least that's what we expect them to do. The Fed will probably raise rates by 0.25%. So we're near that level, and it shouldn't stray too far from 49 or 48.50 going forward.
And is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because we have heard the arguments on both sides, and Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez, for instance, has said that 48.49 to the greenback is not going to be entirely bad because, of course, the economy runs on BPOs as well as remittances.
That's the good part of it, and we've seen some people saying that the peso is actually overvalued at this point. So maybe 49 to 1 peso is not really that bad, and it's going to boost even tourism. I think one of the things that Secretary Dominguez did not say is that it should boost tourism as well.
Actually, there are some Wall Street banks like Credit Suisse calling for about 50 pesos to the greenback by early next year. When you said you were pretty bearish, one of the most bearish among the local analysts, does your forecast run as far as 50 or past the support level, for instance?
We're not looking actually at 50 because what we're telling clients is that the Fed rate path the current Fed rate path shows about 75 basis points increase through the end of 2017. But what we're telling clients is that look at the BSP's rate path. it could be higher than 75 basis points through the end of 2017. It's not, it's not, maybe it's not probable, but certainly it's in the realm of possibility. So if the peso does, if the BSP does raise rates by more than 75 basis points, then
it could very well
the peso should actually move higher.
And now, just very quickly, Nikki, how have you been reading the earnings reports that have been streaming in? Seeing strong showing from the banks, not so much from the miners, telcos in general. What's your outlook on this, the corporate earnings space?
Actually, the earnings reports have been better than we expected. Currently, about 14 out of the 30 index companies have reported earnings so far. And on a recurring earnings basis, year on year, it's up about 17%. This is much higher than the single-digit growth that we saw in the first 2 quarters of the year. So it's better than expected, and that's also one of the things that we expect to push the market higher a little bit going forward.
So far, so good. All right, great insights. We're going to have to leave it there. Raymond Neil Franco, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you.